This is Zhang Ho. He was the Lord High Admiral of the Chinese Navy in the early 1400s. Now, if you don't recall reading about the Chinese Navy in your history books when you were in school, there's a good reason for that, which I will get to in a few minutes. But let me talk about Zhang Ho. He was a remarkable man for several reasons. Number one, as Admiral of the Chinese Navy, he wasn't Chinese. He was Mongolian. And he was raised a Muslim, not a Buddhist. And he was a slave. When he was 11 years old, the Chinese army raided his village and captured him and gave him as a personal slave to Prince Zhu Di of the royal household. So Zhang Ho moved into the royal palace, and there was a rule then that all males living in the palace that were not of the royal family had to be eunuchs. So Zhang Ho was made a eunuch. Nevertheless, both Zhang Ho and Zhu Di were raised together and became lifelong friends. Then in 1403, Zhu Di ascended to the throne and became the third Ming emperor. And he concocted a plan to expand China's presence in the Far East. And this required a new Chinese navy with several remarkable ships. Let's go take a look at those ships. So Zhu Di promoted Zhang Ho to Admiral of the new Chinese Navy. And this Navy made 7 voyages throughout the Far East between 1405 and 1433. And the set piece of the Navy was this ship here, affectionately called the treasure ship. And I would like for you to notice the difference between this big ship and these 2 smaller ones here. They're all built on the same scale. This little model here is a model of one of Columbus's ships that discovered America. The Chinese treasure ship was 400 feet long, 180 feet wide, and had 9 masts. And the purpose of the Navy was shock and awe, to over-impress the members of foreign ports, to establish the Chinese as the masters of the Indian Ocean. And it worked very well. But by the time all of these voyages took place, Zhang Ho and Zhu Di were both old men. In 1424, Zhu Di passed away. And then Zhang Ho passed away on the final voyage in 1433. The new emperor of China inherited a host of problems that did not involve this navy. They were both economic and military. And he made a history-changing decision. He recalled the fleet and let it rot in the harbor and closed the borders of China. And this opened the door to other nations to come into this area and take over trade. It's kind of interesting to speculate how Western civilization would have developed if China had maintained its presence in this area. I'd like to refer you to 2 books that are in our gift shop. When China Ruled the Seas, which tells the story of these voyages, and another one called 1421, which also tells the story in an expanded version. You can also go to the North Gallery folder on this website for more information about Zhang Ho and these voyages. This unusual ship protected the shores of Korea in the 1500s. It's probably one of the most unusual models that you'll ever see, but it was an engineering marvel for the time. Note that the deck was covered with an iron cover that was ornamented with iron spikes, which prevented the ship from being boarded. It had cannon on all sides in order to fight the enemy, regardless of what direction it was coming from. It could be maneuvered under sail and also under oar. And the figurehead on the front was hollow and acted like a thermal chimney to draw air, fresh air, in through the gun ports and the oar ports for the benefit of the crew below. And there's a legend that says that when the Koreans launched this ship at the enemy, that the crew would build a fire in the mouth of the dragon so that it would be belching smoke as it approached the enemy. I really hope that that legend was true. In the 1590s, these ships were commanded by Admiral Yi Shin Sun. I'll get that right in just a moment. He was a remarkable tactician, and in 1598 he repelled an attempted invasion by the Japanese, who wanted to use Korea as a stepping stone to invade China. His remarkable tactics repelled that invasion so thoroughly that Japan did not attempt to invade Korea again until 1910, 315 years later. I've got to remark that Admiral Yi Sun Shin was probably one of the most patriotic men that ever lived. I won't go into his story here, but I will refer you to the North Gallery folder on this website to learn more about this remarkable man and his military tactics.